race, one-stop race, then it became maybe a one, maybe not a stop race, and now it's just down to nothing but speed. And so many guys have had to pit. Now the strategy's out. It's just go for broke.
And what's going to be great, the fastest drivers that we've seen on track are going to restart outside the top 10. There's going to be some movement in the closing laps.
You've got some guys right there, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows back right now that have got to work their way up. So it's going to be pretty good.
The double file restarts always make it entertaining. And we've been given the one to go. So the next time by, the business on track will begin. Kurt Busch, who has had a number of ailments today. Our scoring board has been broken up here into two different columns. He's been on the right column at the back of the field most of the afternoon. He scored as the race leader when we go back green. Let's go down to Phil.
Adam, remember when I told you that Travis Geisler said we're not going to come back in, but we do need a few caution laps? Well, those were the caution laps. They last pitted on lap number 160. You see him starting up on the front row. They've been a solid car all day, top 15, top 20, never in danger of going a lap down. Right now, Sam Hornish is trying to better his career best finish of 4th, which he got right here last year.
And Phil, that one of 2 good runs he had here at Pocono a year ago. Sam, one of 3 drivers that recorded top 10 finishes in both Pocono races last season. Montoya and Gordon the others. And Tony Stewart continues to work the fuel mileage game. He's 3rd at the restart.
You know, these guys don't want to give up too much, and Larry spoke about it earlier. What if you get to a green, white checkered? We've been just trying to get to the end of the race. You know what I mean? This is a 2.5 mile racetrack. Okay, so every time you do that, you've added 2.5 miles for every lap. So these guys, we were cutting it close, being 2 or 3 short. Now if you get the green, white checkered, you got to pit.
And maybe more than 1 green, white checker.
Think about 3.
3, 2.5 miles a lap. You're talking about a lot of laps to make up there. So here are the top 5. Kurt Busch, Sam Hornish Jr., Tony Stewart, Juan Montoya, Ryan Newman, the top 5. Jeff Gordon, Scott Speed in 6th and 7th. And then there's Regan Smith.
And this is, this is the point, too, where guys are going to be a lot more aggressive right now in these restarts. You have to be.
Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin restart 14th and 15th, and they pull out a line as we go green.
And Denny's already on the move. That's exactly right.
Kurt Busch, the race leader, chose the outside lane.
Now this is where Hamlin and those guys, they can lose a lot of time to these leaders if they don't get through that traffic. You see, they're about in the middle of the pack.
Yes.
They got to go.
I'm going to tell you, Kurt got a great start, but Hornish has just driven back up the side of him.
Roger Penske picked up a pair of wins last night. Brett Keselowski getting him to victory lane in Nashville in Nationwide Series competition. And last night it was Ryan Briscoe who won an IndyCar competition in Texas driving for the captain. He's never swept the weekend in the top 3 series of American motorsports, but right now looking good with 28 to go. Matt?
If you look at the day that Kurt Busch has had at him, he recovered from that valve stem cap issue. It took him all day long, basically. Back on lap 156, he pitted for 4 tires and fuel. He was the lucky dog. Then he came back in 4 laps later, took on 4 tires and fuel again, and now Steve Addington continues to tell him, save fuel, save fuel. Remember, they've not been in a fuel mileage conservation situation yet as crew chief and driver, so he's not really sure when he's saving fuel how much he's really saving.
Montoya now jumps in between the 2 Penske drivers.
Whoa, look at Gordon get sideways there.
Woo. I think the 17 got in the back of Gordon a little bit, and he drove off into the tunnel just to show him he was still there. Got a little away from him. I'm going to tell you, Hornish made a power move down there a minute ago, but that 42 car is coming.
A couple of other drivers on the move. We told you that Hamlin and Busch restarted outside the top 10. This time by, they're running 9th and 10th. Busch in 9th, Hamlin in 10th. The lead for Hornish, 0.4 of a second that time by as Montoya continues aggressive, trying to get the runner-up spot.
And Hornish's car is working really good down at 1. He goes into 1 and cuts back across the racetrack and comes up off that corner straight. And that's where he made the move on the 2 car a minute ago, was down this little short chute and got him as they got to the tunnel. And he's got away from these guys because the 42 was right on his bumper going across the tunnel the previous lap.
Well, yeah, they were also running side by side there for a little while. So see if the 42 has got anything right now. He makes a little ground up here in turn 3.
The lead last time by for Hornish was 0.4 of a second. Let's see where Montoya is this time by. Right side of your screen, Tony Stewart goes around Kurt Busch for 3rd.
But, you know, we've seen it all day, too, Carl. The guy that gets out front on these restarts, you know, all of a sudden picks up a little bit of speed.
It was 0.4 of a second. The advantage that time by again for Hornish. And we have a caution for debris. Denny Hamlin had gotten around Jeff Gordon and was up to 8th.
And this is good for guys like Denny Hamlin and these guys, because now we go to the double file. So instead of being 10th in line, now they're 5th in line on the inside or outside. So it picks you up positions. It's a good thing when you're trying to catch up.
And it's a best case scenario, Kyle, because you run 8 laps or so under green. You gain a few positions. Then, as you said, you tighten up the field, double file restart. So it's a very good opportunity for guys like Hamlin and Busch to get back in the game.
And I'm sure Hornish didn't want to see that, and Montoya didn't want to see that, because that brings those guys to them, not them back to them.
Remember when all those drivers, Busch and Hamlin among them, that came down and took fuel and no tires? When they did that, they came to pit road at lap 168. Boyer got tires, and he's picking up some positions, up to 15. Here's the reason for the caution. David Rudiman.
Yeah, he probably got his tire cut on that deal. He made contact with the 31.
Yeah, he did, and then it rolls off.
Yeah. Hard to make it last when you want to go 2.5 miles and get to pit road at this place with a tire issue. 25 laps to go. Sam Hornish Jr. leads this race. He's one of 7 leaders here today. 13 lead changes. We've had 6 cautions for 21 laps. A nearly 2-hour delay at the beginning because of rain, but once we went racing, it's been gorgeous and been an interesting race, and the best yet to come. Stay with us. Target here on TNT. Strategy has been the name of the game here in the last 25 laps or so. We've seen a few different thought processes play out, and while we were away, a few drivers electing to come down pit road and get tires. And perhaps these drivers that you see on your screen that made their pit stop at lap 176 coming to get tires because they've seen it play out for someone else. Clint Boyer, when Denny Hamlin and those guys came down pit road, got tires, and it's paid off for him. Let's go to Ralph for more.
Well, the crew with the 48, Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson, they were trying to decide, do we play it safe and just stay out on the track, try to get as many points as we can, or do we start going for the win, take 4 tires? They came down, took the 4, they're going after it, Matt.
Ralph, Clint Boyer's team actually debated about hitting pit road again for tires. They decided to stay out, but Dale Earnhardt Jr., he hit pit road. He was back in the 26th position. Their game plan, do what the others didn't do. Since the leaders all stayed out, Marty, the 88 hit pit road for 4 tires. No changes for Junior.
Well, Matt, how many times have we seen Jeff Burton have a top 5, top 10 car this year, only to have problems late in the race? The reason Jeff Burton pitted, he made contact with someone on the racetrack, knocked in the right front fender. They had to come bang that out, put on 4 brand new tires. He will go from the top 10 to restarting 26th. Phil?
Marty Juan Montoya came in on lap 163, put 4 tires on, so he has some of the freshest tires on the racetrack other than the guys that just came in this time. So he's up on the front row, going to restart second to Sam Hornish, and he has fairly fresh tires. Lap 163, his last stop for tires.
There's too many strategies.
You know, the funny part is these guys commit to a strategy, and not the funny part, they committed to a strategy, and then 10 laps later they had to commit to another strategy. And you don't want to be I'm glad I'm not a crew chief right now, because there's so much out there that these guys are focused on and trying to figure out that a strategy 25 laps ago may end up beating them.
Yeah, I mean, you got, you know, Boyer, I think, is in a good position, but it's still, things have to line up perfectly for him. He's on good tires, but you got a lot of traffic in front of you.
Hornish, the race leader, chooses the outside lane. Tony Stewart from 3rd, trying to make a bonsai move on the inside. 3 wide for 2nd.
Boy, it's going to be real busy through there.
Here comes Denny